I'm in the garden today, planting vegetables again, but I wanted to give you a little update to a video I had posted last week about growing your own food from grocery store scraps. So I had mentioned you can do things like planting the bok choy that you get from the grocery store. Okay, and also growing, there's cabbage was one of them. Also growing food from dried beans that you may have in your pantry. And I wanted to follow up with you, since I've been doing the same thing, of course, and show you what that looks like when it actually starts to take off. So what I did is, this is bok choy, and this is basically how I bought it from the grocery store. If you buy it, this or kale or these green vegetables, if you buy them with just the leaves, this trick won't work. What you really need is this part here, which is where the base of the plant is, where the leaves meet the roots, the crown, okay? Oftentimes when they harvest these commercially, they will chop it off right at the base. But they leave enough of that tissue left that if you put it in water, as you can see here, these are the roots that have regrown since I've been soaking them in water. Okay, so this is ready to plant. I'm going to go ahead and put it in a little bit of compost and keep it moist so that it can transition. But this is ready to plant. Here's a few more that I've done. Now, when I soaked them in water, so basically they were in a container like this with about half an inch of water, just enough to get the base wet, but not submerge the whole plant. And the plant was definitely in shock. So it had been harvested in the field, distributed to the grocery store, picked up by me, the customer. All of that took time, probably a couple weeks, I'm guessing. And then it finally gets plunked into some water and it has to figure things out. So the plant does go into shock and you'll lose some leaves. Here I've trimmed off the gross slimy parts that fell off so that you can see the progress that does get made. See those little resprouts that are trying to come back from that root crown? What I trimmed off was the gooey slime, which is, you can see a little of it left over here. So I trimmed all the bad stuff off, left the good stuff, and you can put it in. Another thing that you can do is onions. These guys actually, this is only about 3 days max, maybe even 2 days. I was shocked at how quickly this onion resprouted. This was an afterthought, and I just jammed it in that little pot of water, and boy, it resprouted in a heartbeat. This guy, though, the way we cut it, it's because we were slicing onions to cook with. And I'm like, hold up, give me that little root there, and let me just throw it in water and see what happens. And that will reroot. Again, it did go, get a little soggy and nasty in parts, but I trimmed those parts off when I was ready to plant. And I'm going to stick this in the ground and let it keep growing. Finally, I wanted to give you a look at the beans. So these are dried beans. These are black-eyed peas and black beans. They're dried beans from the grocery store, fully intended for cooking, not for seed. What I did is I soaked them overnight, so they started to soften up. And then once they had softened up and sort of started to split, I put them in a little sandwich of wet newspaper in this tray, moisten the newspaper and let it sit for a day or two. And then, sure enough, they start sprouting. So I'm going to go ahead and take these beans and I'm going to plant them in the garden today and get those going. Okay, one final note is on sometimes like this pak choi, I don't know, truthfully speaking, how many more leaves I'm going to really get out of it. But these flowers here, when they do that, it's called bolting. Lettuce does it, cabbage does it, like all kinds of these types of vegetable annuals do it. When they're getting ready to be done with their life, they will bolt and they will flower. This is still useful to me, however, because those flowers will set seed. And I will happily take seed from pak choi, which is something I wasn't able to get before, and collect seed from it now and then regrow those seed even this year. That also works for me. So this has been a wonderful exercise. I do get a few extra green leaves. I will get seed out of it as well. I've been very happy. All right, thanks for joining us on this adventure of growing your own food from the grocery store. If you have any questions, leave me a comment. I'm happy to talk about it. If you want to keep finding out how we're doing things here in the garden, hit that subscribe button and we'll send you more videos, and give us a thumbs up if you like what we're doing. Thanks very much. You have a great day and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.